Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Another episode again in the Mr. Ilmi group. Today we have Maimun. Mohamed, how you doing? Wallah?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm doing well, alhamdulillah walala.
Sister, can you introduce the topic we'll get to in a second, but I guess we want to know a bit of background about you. Tell us, where are you, first of all?
Well, I'm across the pond all the way in Toronto, so I'm
Okay,
in Canada,
great.
and that is where I'm from.
Cool. And give us a bit of your background.
Yes.
Whoa.
So I am a student of psychology and spirituality, and my focus, my writing, my research has been the intersectionality of both. I
Wow.
am also a life coach, life skills coach in training. I'm just completing my certification program at the moment.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm an activist,
Yes.
community volunteer, and I actually just took on a project as a mental health facilitator for the Somali community.
Wow.
So I'm working with the Somali community as well.
Okay, I said to you before the recording, I'm a fan as well because I've seen your LinkedIn doing all sorts of positive stuff. So welcome, thank you so much. Um,
Jazakallah, I appreciate that.
let's jump right in then. The title is Wal Asr,
Yes.
time management. Can we just sort of, you titled it that? Can let's start from there.
Yes. So that is about, of course, the surah, right? Wal
Yeah,
Asr.
yeah,
And in that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Wal Asr, right?
yeah,
Verily, man is in deep loss, except for those who believe
yeah,
and do good deeds
yeah.
and urge one another to truth and urge one another to patience. So that comes from the Quran.
Mm,
And for me, that is very important, as I was
mm,
telling you earlier, that I look at the intersectionality both of spirituality and psychology. And the
mm,
reason why this surah is so important is that Allah is taking an oath by saying, by time, and he declares that mankind is in a state of loss,
mm,
right?
mm.
Except those who do righteous, good deeds. So we need to look at what is priority
Yeah,
in
yeah,
our
absolutely.
lives. What are we doing with our time?
Mm,
Unless we are using our time in a positive way, we are truly at a loss. Well,
yeah,
as is also speaking about it's talking about the limited time that we have. It's about the passage of time. So it is a great reminder to let us know that yes, time is infinite,
mm.
right? In the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created it,
So,
because we do have time in this life and the next.
yeah,
But the time in this world, the time that we have in
mm,
the dunya is very
yeah,
limited. So we have to take advantage of that.
yeah.
And it's almost a warning for mankind. And
Mm,
to also be patient with time as well,
yeah,
right? That's
yeah,
the last part of it, is to
yeah,
call each other to patience,
yeah,
because sometimes it could be very difficult to deal with time management with everything that comes up. It could be overwhelming, so we have to
absolutely.
remember to be patient with
Yeah,
time as well. So that's why I chose that.
that's amazing. So, as somebody who's studied time management, who is involved in that and has been an expert in the area, give us your top golden rules then, Mimoon.
Yes.
What we all want to know, how can we have more time in a day? Can we make
Mhm.
26 hours in a day than 24? What would be your advice? Yeah, someone just trying to
Right.
like organize themselves and get themselves
Of course. That would be the ideal. And
yeah.
if I told you it's kind of possible, um, you would say, how? Well,
Yeah,
there's such thing as barakah, right?
yeah.
So if we use our time wisely, Allah puts barakah in our time.
Mm,
So I've traveled to places of, cities of sacred cities, right? Like
mm,
Medina and Mecca. And when you're
mm.
there, time is different
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
are consumed in doing these great deeds. So
yes.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts blessing in your time where you're like, you feel like you're there for months and years, right?
Mm,
And
mm,
you can't believe all the activities that you've completed during Umrah or Hajj with the
mm,
time that you have. So it all depends on how well you use your time. And Allah puts barakah on that time,
Yeah.
and then it becomes such a blessing. So we could hack time.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, how do we hack time? And I think if that is,
Yes.
if you're saying it's possible and that's true, and yeah,
Yeah.
those sort of places that time does feel different. Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But in our everyday lives, there are
Yes.
things that we can do. There are
Cool.
steps that we can take.
Yep.
And one of the first things is managing our time wisely.
Okay.
And that is coming up with a schedule.
Okay.
So we
Schedule.
must, yes, organize our time, and we must have a schedule and be mindful of our time.
Mm.
And once you have a schedule, a daily planner,
Mm.
which plans all of your activities for that day from the moment you wake up, right? So it is a daily schedule with every single hour accounted for.
Okay.
And with that, you can add a space for emergencies, right? You can leave
Okay.
an hour
Yeah.
for or two for emergencies, especially if you're a parent and
Yeah.
you're a busy parent, things come up with the
Mm.
children.
Mm.
So my recommendation is leave 2 hours, 3 hour gaps for emergencies for anything that comes up. And then also schedule in time for yourself,
Mm.
right? And time for all of the children's activities. You cannot do this on top of your head and just go day by day without having
Yeah.
schedules that account your time. You must take your time into an account.
Cool. And when we're having this schedule, then like, what would be a typical thing that somebody would schedule in? Would it be have a cup of tea, or is it something more substantial, like I don't know, go to run some errands to pay some bills or something like that?
Right.
What should we put in the schedule? Is what I'm trying to
Mhm.
get at. What do you think?
I understand. It's important to be specific and clear.
Okay.
So, in terms of having coffee, so you would
Yeah.
allocate that time for food and eating, right?
Okay.
That's what you would write down, time for eating.
Okay.
And then time for personal hygiene, right? Even
Mm.
things like, showering, things like that. So you would put time for personal hygiene. So you need to be specific so that you are aware, and you need to be more observant, because even when you're looking back
Mm.
at that, you're able to
Mm.
see where you're spending most of your time, where you can cut back, where you can make
Mm.
changes. What are the habits? What are you busying yourself with? So it
Mm.
is important to be specific as well. So I think
Mm.
that's important.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Scheduling everything.
Yes, yes.
Schedule everything.
Schedule in everything. Time for the gym, time for even
Okay.
downtime for entertainment.
Okay.
Right.
So it's
So
not
everything.
just all you don't have to be. It's not all serious stuff.
No, it doesn't all have to be meetings,
Yes.
and it doesn't all have to be business,
Yeah.
but schedule everything in your life. And this was one of the best advice that I've actually gotten from
Yeah.
my Islamic teacher.
Okay.
So yeah.
Even weekends, you schedule stuff on the weekends, though?
Yes,
Okay.
even weekends,
Okay.
because you'll find that in the weekends we waste a lot of the time because
Mm.
we're relaxing, we are not on the hectic schedule of the
Yeah.
weekday,
Mm.
where on the weekday you may have a boss, and you have to be more perfect
Mm.
and more timed with your time. But on the weekends, to get the most out of your week when it's hectic, I
Mm.
would say do most of the work on the weekend.
Okay. Great.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
So
schedule it.
schedule everything good and serious and not so
Yeah.
serious. Family, not
Yes.
family. Health, every little thing.
Everything, even your
Do
appointments, doctor's appointments,
yeah.
everything.
When we're scheduling stuff, sometimes people make half an hour allocations, hour allocations. Is there a method that you favor personally, or is that sort of depends on personal preference and stuff?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question?
Some
The first.
people, so when they're scheduling things in, they book it in like an hour slots, and other people, come down to like 23 minutes to do this, and they're
Mm-hmm.
hyper detailed.
Right.
What is the
Actually,
best format? Is there a preferred way?
yes. Actually be more specific in terms of putting down the exact idea, almost like
Mm.
um 15 minutes to complete this, or it'll take me
Okay.
exactly an hour to complete this. That actually is what tackles procrastination, which is something we'll talk about.
Okay.
But that is actually what helps to stop that. So it is important to specify how much time you need to
Okay.
spend on each activity,
Okay.
right? And then you can calculate your remainder times. And then,
Yeah.
so with these schedules, it can't be something that's just on a device that you look at once in a while. It's
Mm.
important to also have it visual and handy. So if you have a board at home where you stick things on, right? It
Yeah.
can't be the fridge. I would recommend, it's too much with,
Yeah.
in and out with the fridge and the kitchen. But
Yeah.
I would recommend having a board somewhere in your room,
Yeah.
in an area that's important, and to have it all out, and even almost a whiteboard or something for that day. This if you look at some of the most successful businesses, or every business, everything is scheduled. If you look at
Mm.
conferences, meetings, right, even us having this meeting,
Yeah.
everything is scheduled,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And so if they cannot run without a schedule, what makes you think you can run your life without a schedule, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
it's important.
Wow. So
Yeah.
when we're coming up with putting items in, I think we want to talk about like what's the outcome. I guess I think goal setting is what we want to perhaps start there. So
Yes.
how do you even set goals? Like how what's the what do we do?
Yes. So
Yeah.
absolutely. So goal setting is, again, it's another method of organizing your time and also organizing your life.
Mm.
So there is a thing called SMART goal setting,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So there are three components that it must have.
Yeah.
One, it has to be positive, right?
Okay.
So we could get fired up about, positive goals, right?
Yeah.
Goals that inspire you. So it's important that your goals are positive. And then the other thing is, your goals must be personal, that they reflect your own dreams, your values, not those of family or friends or the media, or your
Yeah.
environment or
Yeah.
society, but something that is truly personal to you, that you want to achieve, and that is authentic. So
Mm.
it's important. And then they have to be possible, they have to be achievable, right? So I
Yeah.
can't say I want to go to the moon, but I, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And have that
Absolutely.
as a goal, and I'm not an astronaut, that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So they
Okay.
have to be possible. And then, so there's specifics to that as well. So there
Okay.
are five specific way to set a SMART goal.
Yeah.
So the first one is being specific, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So in order for you to achieve your goal, you must have a very clear idea of what your goal is, exactly what it is that you want to achieve. Second, it has to be measurable,
Mm.
right? So with time, how long will it take you? Will it take you a year to achieve this goal? Is it a
Mm.
monthly goal? Is it a weekly goal? Or is it a daily goal?
Mm.
And then, is it achievable? Again, we've covered this.
Yeah.
Achievable meaning
Is it
that the
possible?
goal
Yeah.
that you're setting, yes, is possible, right? It's not too big, it's not unrealistic, because those things will demotivate you, but something you
Mm.
can really achieve. Is it relevant? Again, and with the relevancy, what's important in that is your why. Why do you want to achieve this goal? What is the purpose and the meaning behind this goal for you
Mm.
personally? And
Mm.
then timed, because if I give myself 5 years to complete something I can do in a month or a week, right?
That's the
Then I'm
point.
wasting my time. So you have to set deadlines for your goals and keep
Mm.
yourself on track as well. So that's important.
Excellent. So we've talked about goal setting and the SMART goals. And I remember you just said something about trying to differentiate what is urgent and what is
Mhm.
important.
Mhm.
Yeah, because sometimes I could schedule 100 things and I only get half done
Yes.
because life's happening to me. It's hitting
Yes.
me. Yeah.
Yes. So this is very important. I took a visioning program where I had to set a vision for my entire life, and even
Mm.
what will I leave behind, like a legacy 100 years from now. So this was actually included. And
Okay.
this is a way to manage your life, manage your time on a daily basis.
Mm.
And that helps you focus on, so there's 4 sections to it. So the first one is what is urgent and what is important. Okay, so that's the first quadrant.
Mm.
And that one is looking at things like crisis that come up in the day, problems, and deadlines. So activities in this area relate to dealing with critical issue as they arise and meeting significant commitments.
Mm.
So this is very important and urgent. So these are the things that you want to deal with on a daily basis, and it should be on top of your list. And then the second one is important, but not urgent. These are opportunities that come up, progress, high value, long term, right? And these success oriented tasks are critical to achieving goals. Plan to do these tasks next. So these are things, for example, I'll give you an example in this. I did a job offer and I have a job interview say in about a month.
Mm.
And that I got that email right now.
Mm.
So for me, it's important, but it's not urgent, right? Because I'm in a
Yeah.
meeting at the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah,
So what
absolutely.
I'll
Yeah.
do is I will complete the tasks I need to do today.
Yeah.
And I can look at that email tomorrow or even the day after
Yeah.
because it is important. It is a great opportunity, right?
Mm. Mm.
But it's not urgent where something is due today or tomorrow, right? You have to look at the deadlines.
Yeah.
And then the next one is urgent, but not important. So those things are maintenance and routine tasks, like
Mm.
our laundry, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Just gotta
Our
get done.
chores,
Yeah.
our chores are at home.
Yeah.
So it's not urgent, right?
Yeah.
And it's not that important where like
Yeah.
it's
Life
critical,
or
life
death.
and death,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? But it's important, it's maintenance, it's the routine tasks that we have to do every day in our lives to
Mm.
complete what we need to do. So for me, I'm busy this weekend, so what I did was I did my laundry throughout the week, right? And so that's another way, in small portions,
Yeah.
organized it, completed that. That's one way to do these type of maintenance
Mm.
things in terms of cleaning and chores, right? As women, that's important. So there's 2 ways we clean at my
Mm.
house. We do the simple cleaning of, puffering around the top,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
simple cleaning to make sure everything is maintained
Yeah.
throughout the week. And then there's the deep cleaning when you have more time, right? On the weekend,
Yeah. Yeah.
where you can take an hour, 2, 3 to finish a section of the house and really get into the
Focus on it. Yeah. Yeah.
nitty gritty of things, right? So so that falls into that box, right? And then
Okay.
the last one is not urgent and not important, things that are trivial. And that
Mm.
could be like social media, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wasting time on social media, wasting time chatting with friends on the phone and
Yeah.
messaging and things like that. If it's not important,
Yeah.
don't do it. And
Yeah.
just for me, I limit time and people that I speak to. I don't have a lot of friends. I'm a social person, I'm social by nature, but because I need to use my time wisely,
Mm.
um I don't have a lot of friends because honestly, I don't have that time to dedicate to social life, right? If it's not
Yeah.
helping me in terms of, again, going back to Al Asr as well, if it's not helping me in terms
Yeah.
of in the remembrance of Allah, if it's not
Nice.
helping me in
Yeah.
terms of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if it's not helping me in terms of
Yeah.
building my life, right?
Yeah. Or your
Then
goals. It's not aligned
your
with your
goals
goals.
or
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
I don't have time for it, unfortunately. I don't do gossiping, right? So I don't
Yeah.
have time to
Absolutely.
talk to girls and gossip for hours or even trivial things in
Yeah.
in life. But I mean, there are times when you need to balance, and I
Mm.
will actually schedule fun on purpose so
Which is
I can
great.
relax, yeah,
You can relax
de-stress and
without regrets, I
relax.
guess, isn't it?
Exactly. And that's
Yeah.
important for our health as well, to relax
Yeah.
and de-stress. And I
Yeah.
will purposely, mindfully do that with my closest friends, few close friends that I have, and you know, we'll do that, right? And that's just to
Mm-mm.
balance, to make sure you're not burning out, and
Absolutely.
you're relaxing, because
Yeah.
that does wonders for your health as well.
Yeah. So that's it. So that's a four quadrant area to help us see what when we're making these tasks that go in the schedule, we can
Mm-hmm.
prioritize what is, I guess, both urgent and important first, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess important, and then the urgent or whatever, however we can sort
Urgent but
of,
not important, like
yeah,
maintenance and things.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Great.
Yes. And then also in terms of goal setting, I would recommend not setting too many goals for each day,
Okay.
right? So I do top three. I don't do more than three goals per day. I don't want to overwhelm myself. It
Yeah.
allows me to focus in on more and give my attention more. I'm avoiding multitasking too much. As a woman,
Mm,
it's,
mm, mm.
you know, we multitask a lot, and even maybe as brothers as well, I'm
Yeah.
sure you
Yeah.
multitask a lot with family, and then you know, your business, etc., right?
Mm,
And work life, and so, and then social life as well. So too much multitasking is actually not healthy for the individual. It's not healthy for the brain. I had a teacher who said, he's also a medical doctor actually, and he's also a sheikh, Sheikh Tawfiq Chaudhry, who said multitasking is almost like cocaine for the brain.
mm,
So it's actually detrimental. It's not good for
mm,
our health. So it's better if you focus on three important goals per day, achieve it, and then you feel great about yourself as well. If you have a long to-do list
mm,
and you don't complete it, you don't feel that great about yourself, right? So
mm,
this helps with your self-esteem as well and your confidence.
mm, mm.
Complete three important, urgent goals each day, and by the end of the week you've observed, you know, you've completed 15 important goals for the
Mm.
week, right? When you calculate it like that, it's like, oh wow, you know, I did amazing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So and then you reward yourself, right?
Time
I
out.
like
Yeah.
to reward myself by the end of the week,
Yeah.
you know, with a great meal from a restaurant or
Mm,
something, right?
mm.
With whatever it is, you know, just a self reward. So
Yeah.
that's what I do.
So now we've come with quite a lot of good stuff here. We've figured out, I guess, the philosophy between urgent and important, and then goal
Mhm.
setting, smart goals. And but the thing is, uh, procrastination.
Oh yeah,
I think we're very good at coming up with plans. I'm actually very good at advising other people what to do. But for
we
doing
all
stuff,
are.
but for our own selves, it's just a fight. So what would be your advice to like get through procrastination, I guess?
Hmm. Yes, so that's very important to avoid procrastination, and understanding, first of all, why we procrastinate
Mm, okay.
is very important before we look at how to avoid it, right?
Mm, yeah.
And so, some of the reasons why we procrastinate is that we do not set clear deadlines,
Mm,
right?
okay.
And we
So
have
from the
inadequate.
beginning, the goals are not set clear enough.
Yes, yes. So, for example, if I say that, you know, in my mind, and I don't even write it out, right? And this is why it's important to write things out and not just have it in your mind, like, this is what I have to do. So, in my mind, if I say, today I have a lot of work to do, today I'm going to be busy, today I will achieve all of my goals, but I haven't written it out, I'm not clear about it. Um, that will lead to procrastination, because in your mind, as soon as you say I have a lot to do, you'll
Mm,
start to resent that, right? And you'll start to not want it. It'll be the opposite. You'll
yeah.
demotivate yourself, right? And that's what happens.
Mm,
And then inadequate resources as well. When you have inadequate resources available, for example, the time, money, or information, right? So if you don't have a lot of time,
mm.
what people actually do is they procrastinate more. They go on social media to avoid the
Even
responsibility of the work that they have to do.
yeah.
So it's a way of avoidance. It's a way of emotionally dealing with it. I've learned this in cognitive psychology.
Yeah.
Social media is a way of emotionally dealing with avoiding our responsibility. And so that's one thing. And then money as well, or information. If you're not knowledgeable on what you have to do and you don't know how to do it, you'll actually
Yeah.
avoid it more. Or if you don't have the resources to do it, right? Money as well. And then the other thing is you don't know where to begin. You don't
Yeah.
know where to
Yeah.
start.
Okay.
For example, I was speaking with somebody who said she needs to organize and clean her home, but she's so overwhelmed. She doesn't know where to start. And I said, okay, we'll start by just doing one room at a time, or one category of an item in that room. If it's, books, focus on just organizing the books. If it's clothing, organize the clothing, right? Pick
Yeah.
one category of something and then do it that way.
Yeah.
And then tasks, right? So I've talked about this. Tasks feel overwhelming, and then no passion for doing the work. And then there's also fear of failure or fear of success. Those are some of the reasons why we procrastinate.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there are 9 ways to overcome procrastination.
Okay. Give me,
Okay,
I need all 9. Give me, let's go.
okay, we'll go fast.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so those 9 ways to overcome procrastination is, first of all, so it says delete it. What are the consequences? So you think about what are the consequences of not doing a task at all. So consider the 80-20 rule, right? And what the 80-20 rule is we're looking at so it's like, so 80% is the work and 20% is the results that you achieve, right? So remember, so that's what it is. Okay. And then just looking back here at my notes, and then delegate. Delegation is important way to avoid procrastination. And this is such an important task for parents as well. If you have children that are old enough to help you out with some of the tasks, I would recommend delegating the tasks to these children who are old enough to help out in terms of small things like cleaning, routine things like cleaning the house with you, organizing their own toys, their own clothes as well. So that'll make the tasks go faster. If it's 2 parents, right? Working as partners and delegating the tasks where only, so that it's not on only one partner to do all of the say for example the household work, right? Or not only do the household work, also doing taking the children to their appointments, to their after school activities, to everything that's related to the household, including the children. So it's important to delegate, right? And even if you have really good family members, because us, Somalis, we come from large families,
big families,
where we have siblings who are able to help us out, right? So they can come over, and you can cook them a good meal after.
And let them
They promise to help either babysit the children for a couple of hours while you do some self-care, right? Or they help with the cleaning on the weekends, or they take the children to their after-school activities. Whatever it is, delegate and get help from others. Family, close friends, neighbors, get a babysitter. You know what I mean? Well, now with COVID, a little restricting, but this is long-term things to consider. And then do it now is another story. It's another one. So doing things now, not tomorrow, because saving things for tomorrow, postponing, is what creates more procrastination, right? It's like in your head you tell yourself, I'm gonna do this tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes, it's the other tomorrow, right? And so that will never end. And that's why it was important for me to title it, while Asra, our time is limited, the only real time reality we have is in the now and today and the present. You never know if you're going to make it, right, to the next day. And so it's important to do things today and live in the present moment. So that's important. And
Okay.
then asking for advice, right? From trusted mentors, supervisors, coaches, teachers. So that's important way to avoid procrastination. And then obeying the 15-minute rule. So the 15-minute rule is to reduce it's to reduce the temptation of procrastinating. Each actionable step, a project should take more than 15 minutes to complete. So remember when I was saying you're scheduling it in
To
and
15
you're
minutes.
giving it that time limit. So 15 minutes is important. And then have clear deadlines, right? So I've done project management. And so when I'm managing others and I'm telling them I need this task done, I would let them know by when. And so that was always important. So they know their deadline is coming and I needed that aspect of the project completed and I would have it completed. And then giving yourself a reward is important. Celebrate your milestones and how far you've come and reward yourself for that. I've spoke about rewarding myself with some great food, right? At the end of the week when I've achieved all of my goals,
Absolutely.
right? There's different ways to reward yourself. Maybe, for the sisters, a spa trip, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then for the brothers, maybe go watch a basketball game, right? In person, these type of things. And then removing distractions from our lives, right? Social media is a huge one. The only way I honestly use social media is to do my work, to do my projects. I don't go into social media just for the entertainment of it. I always have a purpose, intention, either to learn or to share things, right? So that is important. And sometimes it's not just social media, it could be people as well, right? Friends who don't really contribute to what's best for us, right? With distractions, especially with the sisters, sometimes some sisters would like to have meaningless conversations. I don't want to pick on the sisters in terms of
The brothers guilty
negative
as the sisters, no doubt.
conversations, but it could also be true with the brothers. But so avoiding distractions, whether it's coming from the environment, whether it's coming from friends, whether it's coming from social media. So once you have these clear ideas of your life and what you want to do, then you will understand what is negative as well, and removing negative habits as well and distractions. And that's why it's important to have everything accountable, all of your activities accounted for in front of you.
That's excellent advice. Okay, we had some questions from the group themselves. We're all parents in this group, and as a resident expert, we thought we'd get you some. So if you could, I think Zamzam has sent you the questions.
Yes.
You could address a couple of those. That'd be really helpful.
Okay. So the first question I have here is, how can I manage my time more productively? And I think we've kind of covered that in the presentation. I hope so. But just to reiterate some things, it's to just organize and manage time with a great schedule that includes all the aspects of your life, even if it is time for prayer, your dhikr, your du'as, make that space for it. Anything else that you're doing in your life, your work life, right? So just have different categories, right? So spiritual, religious, work, family, household chores. So categorize it as well, and really just organize it in that way. Other question is, I have 2 children with special needs, and it could be very challenging to get ready in the morning. What advice would you give me? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for you, increase you in patience and iman. And I would recommend that you take advantage of the night. So when the children are asleep, plan your schedule the night before lay out their clothes, everything they need for the next day, even lay out your own clothes and what you need. Learn to create meals all week long where you can refrigerate or freeze to free up that cooking time in the day. Plan what you're going to eat for breakfast. So plan ahead, whether it is the night before, whether it is throughout the week or on the weekend. Plan ahead and take advantage of your time by organizing your time. Seek help from others as well, whether it is really close family or friends that could help you. And I think that answers
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's a really,
Okay.
thank you.
You're welcome. And then the other one is having self-care is important, but I feel guilty doing things for me. Okay,
Mm,
so we need to get rid of the guilt,
yes.
because honestly, you're doing more harm in not taking care of yourself for your children. You think if you give everything you have, all the time that you have and all of you to them is the best way. It isn't. We need to learn to reparent ourselves. We can't follow the way our parents parented us because that is their way,
Mm,
but we need to take time for self-care, because if you're not doing it, then you actually are taking something away from your children and your family. It's detrimental, right? So
mm,
put that oxygen mask, right, for yourself first before you can save others. And that is self-care. You have to be a balanced and healthy parent so that you can actually parent more productively and more in a healthy manner,
mm,
right?
mm,
So
mm,
self-care is important. If you need to get a babysitter, get a babysitter. Delegate your tasks, but
mm,
make time for yourself. Even if it is when they go to sleep, make time for yourself.
mm,
So that's important.
mm.
I think I have three more questions. Okay, I
Yeah.
work as though everything is urgent. Can you advise me ways that I can organize without getting overwhelmed? So again, it's
Mm,
breaking your tasks into the four quadrants that we
yeah, that we
spoke
spoke
about.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, and deciding what is urgent and what isn't. And if everything seems urgent and you're just literally out of time, it means you're not organizing your time effectively, where you're doing things last minute. So it seems it's urgent. The deadlines are closer than you think
Mm,
because you're not organizing your time effectively. So this is where time management comes in, scheduling ahead and organizing ahead,
mm,
to answer that question. And then second last question, is keeping to-do list essential? Please help me in how I can stick to it. Yes, a to-do list is very important. We can't have things in our mind, like
yeah,
all the things that we're going to do.
yeah,
It becomes
absolutely.
overwhelming. It becomes stressful.
Mm,
We need to have it in front of us, and we need to go through it. And to-do list becomes not that great if we're not setting goals as well. So it's important to follow the steps, set goals, and then not to overwhelm yourself with the to-do list. Not too long of a to-do list, but to be important things to complete each day. That way you'll stick to it more. Last question. My children do a lot of activities after school and they get a lot of homework. Please help us with the ways that we can do all the necessary things. And I also find time to do family activities as well. Thank you. So I
mm,
think I would advise focusing on the homework during the weekday and doing the activities and family activities on the weekend, and scheduling again and organizing time is important. And then doing the homework. If the children are a bit older, have the older ones teach the younger ones. That's how we
mm,
did it at my household, because one parent cannot teach all the children,
mm,
but get
mm,
help, right? If it's two parents working together, if it is an aunt and uncle involved, a mentor, a tutor, right? Get a tutor to
mm,
help out with the homework, with the after school homework,
mm,
and then save the family activities and activities on the weekend. That's what I
mm.
would recommend.
That's amazing. So we've got a lot of questions there. We're not going to let you go. I first of all, what's next for you? Because I think you said you're a life coach and you're sort of going to that. If
Mhm.
I feel like we've got a window into time management by speaking to you today, how can we like develop this further? What would you recommend? How can we contact you? What's going on with you? How can we sort of get more communications with you?
Yes, Jazakallah khair for that question. I'm always available on
Okay,
social media. I
great.
do answer. You can find me as Mimuna Mohamed at Facebook. You
Okay,
can also find my work on Facebook as well as Instagram.
okay,
Twitter is, I'm slowly building up Twitter, and I'll do more videos on YouTube. I'm just slowly building that up.
yeah,
And it's all under Becoming Institute.
yeah.
So Becoming,
Becoming Institute. Okay,
Becoming Institute. So Becoming Institute.
we'll post it
And
in the comments today. In this,
yes, I will.
yeah.
And so I'm also actually creating a website. I'm just having it completed at the moment. And I will be, inshallah, teaching online self-development courses, which will include time management as well.
Brilliant, excellent. So we can communicate with you there. Mimuna, thank you so much for today. I think it's a great gateway to figure out all of things about time management. And hopefully, inshallah, we've got more questions come. We'll post and inshallah have you back again soon. That's
Okay,
brilliant.
inshallah.
Thank you so much for
Jazakallah
your
khair
time.
for your time. It was nice to meet you. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of your efforts, inshallah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
And anything beneficial is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And any of my shortcomings is from my nafs. So please do forgive me. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.